Hi, and we're live. I am coming live actually, I'm coming on to share creative career ideas for you today. So let's dive into this. And I'll also be sharing a little bit about who I am. So, hello, my name is Melinda Kunst, and I'm going to be doing a presentation. Now, when you jump out of a relationship, a toxic relationship, sometimes it's hard to, put one foot in front of the other and think about what exactly you're going to do with your life. You might be just pondering it. You might not even be thinking about that. Sometimes our mind is really cluttered, and it's also very hard to form a future, form a plan for a future. So let's talk a little bit. Let's see if I can help you on out with that. So we're going to talk about right now. I'll be sharing who am I, brain dumping, areas that stop us from moving forward. I'll be sharing a multi purpose healing tool and also some creative job ideas. So, who am I? Hello, my name is Melinda, and I'm married to my best friend, Mr. Awesome. I'm a mom to five. We're a blended family and a grandmother to three very energetic wee ones. So, I call myself a small homesteader. I have some ducks, chickens, a sassy rabbit, and a three-legged goat. His name is Lieutenant Dan, or sometimes we call him Mr. Dan. We do have folks that come and visit us down here at our little farm, and we teach them about digging into the dirt, knowing where their food comes from, also native plants and what healing comes from that. I am a chronic illness warrior, so finding natural healing and methods, not only for healing my issues that I have with Lyme disease and all the other stuff that comes with it, but also PTSD. What did I need to help me with my anxiety and depression? Digging in the dirt, there is some solid evidence that shows gardening, getting your hands dirty, it can really be then beneficial and healing. So that's what I would like to have folks come on over, do a healing, if you would like to call it that, a healing sanctuary. And so that's what we do here. But also, I have a passion for all things that are old and dusty. My latest passion is hula hooping. I adore things that are shiny and glittery and my craftiness, glue gun, that's sort of my things. And I always joke that I have a PhD, which is my project's half done. And I'm not always the most organized person. It's organized disorganization, though. So, who am I? Who's this chick here talking to you about this? Well, I am a child abuse survivor, also a domestic violence survivor a little bit later on. Now, I'd like to say that I'm not really a survivor, but an overcomer. And I started sharing my story. I left my abuser in February, actually February 25th of 2009. And I started by blogging and sharing my story on social media. And you know what? Things just started to happen, were put in motion. I call it a God thing for me. And a lot of people came forward to share their own stories of surviving, their own stories, maybe from they had a traumatic childhood growing up, or perhaps they were also in a situation that they were still in a a situation with their parents or with somebody close to them, maybe not an intimate partner that was toxic. So that was part of my story, starting of that healing process. Eventually, I started writing through my journaling, and then I had so much information that my now husband, my new husband, he and my family members said, you know what, you ought to write that stuff down and publish it. So that's what I did. So I put together my story of escaping and recovering from abuse. And now I advocate for victims and survivors. I do volunteer in the community. I have a podcast. I do interviews with other live interviews with other specialists, people that have backgrounds in counseling, therapy, coaches, but most importantly to me is to have talks with others that have other emotional traumas, whether it's mental health illness, um, chronic illness, or perhaps they have, of course, my passion comes from helping other survivors. So I do have survivors that do come on board and they share their stories. So we do have a lot of information that I do cover about thriving after abuse, surviving that craziness, of course, after you leave your abuser, self love, teen dating violence, goal setting. I do mentoring and a lot more. So let's dive into this a little bit more. So, when we're talking about this, we're talking about brain dumping. You might be like, what is brain dumping? Have you ever heard of brainstorming? Okay, so what is it exactly? Brain dumping or storming, excuse me, is a way to get things on paper. It's a great way to declutter your mind, especially again, if you're in a personal situation right now, a toxic situation, your your mind, your feelings, your emotions might be very escalated right now. So you could have a jumble of thoughts. Putting ideas is a great way to learn not only about where you want to be in life, but also about you. So there's different types of brain dumping that can match your lifestyle or your needs right now. So what does this have to do with job searching or finding your purpose? Well, using this technique can help you narrowing your choices, your goals down as well. So let's talk a little bit more about that because it's all good. This is all good stuff. So, how often and what other areas of your life can you use this technique? Well, you can use brain dumping or brainstorming. You can use this daily, maybe weekly, yearly, or perhaps on a weekend. You can use these as often as you need to. Okay. Now, other areas that you might be able to use these in is your meal planning, challenging goals. Perhaps you would like to get fit or healthier, what you want in a partner. And I don't know if you saw my vision board series, that this is something also that you can take a peek at. So, also, we want to think about what we want to do to move forward. Okay, so we want to dive into things that maybe you need to just get through the day. What makes you happy? Do you know what makes you happy? I know when I was out of my relationship, I had no idea, but you could take these thoughts and rather than dive in and fix them all at once, you could take these at bite sized pieces so it's a little less overwhelming. So it can help you figure out also if you're stuck in negative patterns. Maybe you had a situation where you had a toxic family. So you've been caught up in that generational cycle of abuse, or you were in a relationship where a person said, "No, you're not smart enough. You'll never amount to anything, or you're such a disappointment." Your mind sucks all this in. Our brain takes all of these in, all that information, whether it's good or bad. So we want to feed your brain some positivity and some good thoughts in order to start shifting your mindset. So let's look also for positive people in our circle too. So, and this is kind of hard. If people are not very positive in our life, it can be very hard to move forward. It really and truly can. So we do want to get rid of some of those toxic patterns. We want to break those. So going back to talking about finding your support team, your cheerleaders, it could be very discouraging to you. There could be some hurt feelings as well. So what I suggest is that maybe here, let me stop this for just a second, or let me break on through here a little bit, is to so maybe you need to just break away for a season. And what I mean about a season, that can look different for everybody. That could look like maybe a month, maybe 3 to 6 months. It could look different for everybody. It could be a year, it could be longer. So check out those friends that you have on social media, or when you go to your holiday gatherings, pay attention to the next time that you're with them. Do they seem like they're always in sort of some sort of drama circle, drama mama? When you tell them your plans and your dreams and your hopes, do they belittle you? Are they saying that's not such a good idea? Why would you want to start that up? Or that's a dumb idea? Are there things that they're saying that are negative, such as why, how could you even think about going back to school in this economy? Or do you really feel tired when you hang out with these people? Because toxic and negative people, but also behaviors and patterns can be so draining. So take a minute to think about that. Is there someone in your life right now, in your circle, that really you, when you really think about it, it is very draining. It really is. So when you start changing that behavior, changing your negative patterns, changing into more of a growth mindset, positive mindset, when you start changing that energy, you're going to start attracting people that are positive, situations that are positive, and that's what we want to do. We want to put this energy into play. We want positive energy. We want to, also think about when we're doing this brainstorming, what is a priority? What needs to get done right away? So these are things we're going to be thinking about when we do this. So again, there's a lot of different things that you can use this technique for. What are your biggest goals? What do you need to let go of? That's really special too. I mean, honestly, when you think about it, what do you need to let go of? So let's talk about toxic patterns. Let's get back to this. So when we break these toxic patterns, what I'm talking about, there are several here that you might not even be aware of. Now, sorrows. Now, this could be any sorrow. Let's talk about them. Sorrow, having trouble with my words, regrets, toxic habits, toxic people, procrastination, anger, fears, and also some unfulfilled goals. There's quite a bit here that we can really talk about, and that's what we're going to do right now. So talking about, whoops, I'm going back here, our sorrows. Our sour when we're upset about something, sorrow, any life changes or wounds, maybe these need to be healed. Okay, that's when we're talking about sorrows, especially if you've just had that breakup with that intimate partner or whoever that is. Maybe it's a coworker, best friend. What life changes have really got you down? And of course, I know that sounds silly coming from where you are right now, but what are the wounds that need to be healed? Is there a mother wound? Is there a generational wound? What is that you need to heal? Is it just to write a letter to, and I shouldn't say just because it could be powerful to do, but writing that letter to that abuser or that person that hurt you? I'm not saying you're going to give that to them, but also it's very healing just to get it all down on paper. So regrets. Regrets is a big one. What didn't work? Whether it's at work, literally, or in that relationship, what needs to change? Toxic habits. Now, do you fear change? Do you blame others? Are you a perfectionist? Do you fear people controlling you? Or, you know what? Sometimes when you have this fear, you'll actually attract controlling people. And I know that sounds bizarre, but sometimes we do this. Toxic people. So these are the people you don't want to work with, or these are the people that bring you down. So these are areas that we can actually brainstorm and brain dump, but also to heal these areas. That's why I'm talking about these. So we're going to break these patterns. Procrastination. I am a self-proclaimed, and I shouldn't do this, but I am a procrastinator. I do have a tendency to put a lot of things off. And I'm just being honest, really honest and open about this. So where are you? Do you procrastinate? Or are you one of those that are always on top of things? Now, anger, this is a big one. Now, is there someone you're angry at? This could be, again, that abuser, that toxic person, whoever it is that hurt you, or maybe your children. This could be also anger at other people. So once more, all of these can go under an umbrella, not just an intimate partner. They could be your mom. They could be your grandpa. They could be your coworker, somebody that's supposed to be your best friend. Who is it that you're holding on anger to? Now, fears. What fears do you have? For me, honestly, when I started talking, and I still get really excited, is public speaking, presentations, travel. You could be afraid of the water. Are you afraid of losing your children, maybe to DCS or your ex or someone else? Maybe you have a fear that you're not able to find a job, especially one that will be able to support you or support you and your family. But also, a big fear that I know many women have is not finding a healthy relationship or just winding back up in that cycle again. Now, unfulfilled goals. Now, we didn't always have bad times with our abusers. Okay, so what unfulfilled goals, what unfulfilled dreams did you have with that person? Was there, maybe a trip, a holiday trip that you didn't take, a honeymoon or something? Whatever that unfulfilled goal was, resolutions, they didn't go right. That's okay. So these are things we want to really confront and put it in writing. But I also want to say when we do these things, they can be very powerful. So just be mindful of the power that these things can have when you start working through them. Now, again, I showed the slide just a minute ago, just right. So get the ball rolling. Just start putting all those thoughts on papers. I don't even care if the grammar's perfect or the punctuation. Don't even worry about that. And I want you to start asking yourself some questions. Now, do you need to research? If we're going back to the job, we're going to talk about that. Do you need to research going back to college in order to get a degree in something you want to do? Do you know if there is a maybe a babysitter that you need on specialized days or hours, or can you get time off of work in order to go back to school? Is there someone holding you back? This goes back again to that circle. Is there someone in your circle holding you back? So these are a few questions that you can answer, excuse me, ask yourself. Maybe there's marketing that you need to research in order if you want to start your own business. These are things that you might want to go ahead and do a little research on. And it's okay to set a deadline for your dreams and goals, and remember to be flexible because things can go sideways from time to time. So I want you to be gentle with yourself. And of course, ask for help and celebrate wins. Even if it's the tiniest win, you know what? Celebrate it. Go out for coffee or do something that makes you feel good. So it doesn't matter how small it is, really and truly, just celebrate because that can really keep your momentum going. And that's what it's all about. So let's talk about finally starting that healing process. What we're talking about right now is that creative healing tool. So, what I want you to do is to grab a piece of paper. Okay. And this paper can be a plain piece of paper. So, I want you to draw a circle in the middle. And with that, I want you to put in there in the middle, and this could be in pen and paper. So inside the shape are going to be things that you want to receive. Okay. And what I mean by that, let me come on out here. What I mean by that is things that you want to receive are like, perhaps you want to have love, more love for yourself and love for others. Now, I don't want you to be looking for approval for others because you don't need that. You are definitely enough. But I want you to think about things that you want to, maybe finances, perhaps wealth. Let's talk about that. Maybe you wish to have a healthy lifestyle, good food, a car, things. I mean, it doesn't have to be, it could be out of the box, whatever it is you want to receive. That's what I want you to put down on your paper. Okay. That's going to go inside your heart or your circle, whichever you decide, whatever shape you'd like to do. Now, outside of that circle or heart are going to be the things that you want to release. And so, what I mean by release, perhaps there's a toxic person that you need to release. Do you need to release negative patterns? Do you need to okay, I mean, honestly, I am challenged by emotional eating. Okay, so I know that's something that I've put on the outside of my circle. I know that's something I'm challenged with. Inside my circle, I know I want to have good, healthy habits, good health as well. I want to start getting my blood pressure in order and lowered. So these are things that I want to do, start taking care of my body a lot more. So those are things I want to bring in, I want to receive in, and those things that I want to let go is that overeating, that emotional eating, eating after 7 o'clock. Also, is still, personally, for myself, there are still some feelings that I know I need to release, that I need to keep working on. And back I said I left him in 2009, so I'm still a work in progress. I'm still even though I've been gone from that relationship for so long, there are times where negative feelings, memories, triggers still pop up for me. I can handle them a lot better now than I did before. But knowing and learning about me, about my triggers and so on has helped me in order to grow. And I'm no longer in a spot, in a place where before, when I first left, that first couple of years was really hard. I would be a mess. I kid you not, I was a hot mess with the panic attacks and a feeling of unworthiness and depression and so on. So I'm not at that place right now. I've learned a lot of healing tools, and that's what I've been sharing with the vision boards, with this, the creative jobs, and also that brain dumping. These are things that I've done in order to help myself. Now, you might have to find what works for you, but I want you to start taking some baby steps. And these are just things that have worked for me. You can fine tune it to whatever you would like or whatever you need. So, again, think out of the box. So, let's get back into this. Okay, so we've got that healing tool. And with that, this healing process, just remember you can do this again. This is fine tailored to your situation or whatever your needs are. Draw that heart or that circle, whatever it is your needs are. It could be job related. Perhaps your next job inside the middle, you want to have financial freedom. You wish to have abundance. You wish to have hours that will work so you still have time for your wee ones. On the outside, you want to get rid of a toxic work environment. You might wish to get rid of or let go of travel. Perhaps you wish to find a job from home or something that's a little closer. So, those are a few ideas for you to take with you. Okay, so again, tailor this healing tool to whatever works for you. Let's go. Next one. So let's dive into these creative job ideas. And I'm going to have quite a few slides in this. So just bear with me as I go through all of them. So the first one I'm going to talk about is online sales. Now, the thing is, with the internet, there is an explosive amount of opportunities that come with the internet. And that is just a phenomenal thing to have right now. So let's think about some of these things that I'm going to talk and share about. And I really want you to know that many of these you don't need schooling in. And it's just tapping into your superpowers to figure out maybe a hobby that you can incorporate or start digging into, or maybe you've had some kind of other passion that maybe you can start to nurture and water, and it'll take off. So here's those ideas. Online seller, you can shop on eBay, not shop, well, you can actually be a personal shopper now that we have so many other things that you can do for grocers and so on, people that don't want to go out to the stores regarding COVID. I'll get back to that in a little bit. But online sales, I mean, like your Amazon, your eBay, antique dealing, reselling, newer items as well. Perhaps you can be a babysitter. Okay. There's maybe quite a few moms, and I know there's some certification in some counties, in some states, that they'll actually pay you in order to take training so you can watch other people's children and you can actually get subsidies and things, benefits from the state. And I don't recall Indiana off the top of my head, but I know there is something similar. You can be a dog or cat sitter and walker, maybe even a tutor. I don't know if you've considered that. Now, a tutor, you can do school, math, a foreign language, even computers. That's an idea. There are a lot of folks that maybe aren't up to speed on some of the technology that we have on because it's going so fast. So there could be somebody that might benefit from learning how to learn a program a computer, use a computer. Also teaching hobbies. Do you know how to do sewing? Are you somebody that knows how to can or crochet? Do you know woodworking? What is it that you have a hobby, playing guitar or something like that, that you can actually teach to other people? Now, cake decorating, cake decorator, there are so many neat things that you can do with cake decorating. Honestly, desserts and chef, there are people out there that are really interested in having someone prepare a meal for them, and it could be a very healthy meal. A lot of families are very busy right now. They have very busy lives. And so if you can make a meal for them or help them with the desserts for or party planning or something like that is something really cool to dive into. The cake pops or maybe the hot chocolate bombs or tea bombs, something like that. Coaching has really went to another level when the internet sort of exploded. We have, if you can dream it, you can find it or you can do it. Honestly, there are coaches for lifestyle. There is coaches for human design, fitness, wellness, for motherhood, grief counseling, dealing with children, especially teens, financial planning. There are empowerment coaches, there are breastfeeding coaches, whatever it is, honestly, you can think of, there is a coach for it. So there's also maybe you have a talent in writing. So you could be an author or write for magazines or even websites. There's social media managing. Now, this can include taking photos, uploading photos like from Canva or other PicMonkey and so on and so on. You could do scheduling for somebody, reservations, emails, presentations. There's a lot you can do. And that also goes with your virtual assisting too. It can kind of go hand in hand, which you're also being in office for a person, and that's just virtually. And it's kind of cool. I've done a little bit of both of those. Now, some other ideas are going to include photography, housework, house cleaning as well. Now, life skills. And what I mean by that is perhaps there is somebody that you might know, especially let's talk about kids. They're getting out of school, out of college, or out of high school. Many times they don't know how to use a checkbook. They don't know how to use budgeting. They might not know how to drive. They might not know how to shop or shop very well. Okay, so there could be something you could teach with life skills, ironing, sewing. Again, going back to sewing, that could be something that you can help perhaps somebody do. And go back to the housework, you can help somebody, maybe the elderly, they have projects around their home that they might not be able to get to. They might need someone to run errands. So, and then we talk about the Instacart. That's what I meant a little bit ago. So there's Instacart, there's DoorDash, there's Grubhub, also Uber. You could be a driver, a fashion stylist. There are, I got to be honest with you, I don't always know how to put it together. Sometimes I'm just a rainbow of colors, and it would be really neat to have my own fashion stylist. So there are color stylists and fashion stylists that can help put together a wardrobe. So maybe that's you. There's also the beauty industry. And again, a lot of these, since we have the internet, has really exploded. So I am not one, again, going back to the fashion and so on. I don't know how to put on makeup. I kind of just slap it on. I've never really been one to have the patience to put on all these layers. And I've seen some ladies do it and they look phenomenal. I just don't have patience for that. But you might be one of those people that can do a tutorial on YouTube, or use that web in order to have your artistry skills. And maybe it's not just an everyday kind of face that you're putting on somebody, but perhaps you can do special effects for Halloween or something like that, but different makeup that's a little bit edgier or a little different. Nail technicians. Nails are so hot right now. So maybe you have that art flair to do beautiful nails, or a beautician to do some funky hair or something, esthetician, massage therapist. So again, as I'm going through these, I hope I'm tapping into something that's a little bit out of the ordinary that you might not be used to. But these are a few things. But also, perhaps you could go in online customer service. And that's one of the things that I do. I do customer service for a company called Live Apps. And I do need a computer. You do need internet and a modem in order to do so. But that is one of the things that I do out of the house. And it's nice. There's also another company called Arise that does this as well. So those are the two for sure that I know are reputable. Okay, because I don't know them all. I know there's more out there, but those are the two that I know for sure that are reputable. Now, also other ideas are healing modalities. And what I mean by that is you're going through your own situation right now, your own healing process, you might start learning other maybe unconventional methods of healing, not just your normal healing through therapy or counseling. This can include something called Reiki, EFT, which is emotional freedom technique, shadow work. It's not as creepy or weird as it sounds. Acupuncture, reflexology, foot zoning, EMDR, hypnosis. So those are a few different things. You might even decide that you want to be maybe a fitness instructor, and that can look different as well. There are people that do yoga. There's people that do Pilates, Zumba. There's people such as myself that are crazy and love to do hula hooping. There are dance instructors as well. So, really get creative and think about that. Roller skating. There is a big thing called flow arts, where there's just a variety of types of fans doing ribbon dancing. There's just so many things out there, and there are instructors that are needed for this. So again, think out of the box. Home decorator or stylist. There are people that don't have that flair for decorating, or maybe they just don't have time. So that's something that you can think of too. Home staging for realtors. Perhaps you are crafty, a painter, artist. You can do that sewing for somebody, maybe some homemade clothes, product testing as well. So again, I'm giving you hopefully a lot of ideas to tap into. Now, crafting, we have that Cricut now. There's a silhouette machines out there. There is, you can do different things, making stickers, you can do woodworking. There's so many other things that you can do right now. You can do t-shirts and so on and so on. So there are different things to look into when you're doing crafting. You can also teach. Again, that's different things. A computer technician, are you savvy? Do you know how to, going back to somebody that might not know how to run their computer, can you teach them how to run Windows? Can you teach somebody an Apple computer how to even just turn on the computer, load different software? These are things that you can just maybe think about being as a computer technician or IT tech. Right now, security for the internet is so crucial. We need that security, internet security. So that might be something to think about. Secret shopping and printing. Going back to that Cricut in that silhouette, there are people that make cards. There are other machines that you can use in order to make some kind of crafty signs and decorations. There's 3D printers. Again, there's t-shirts. Now, can you paint? You be a house painter, not just outside, but maybe inside, home maintenance. And again, many of those that I'm going to name and show are something that I know some of our elderly might not be able to do on their own. So they might have some difficulty doing that. Lawn care, pushing that mower can be hard work. Doing some snow shoveling, home maintenance. Can you help somebody? Even just changing a bulb. And I know that sounds silly, but as you get a little older, sometimes you're not very steady on a ladder. So can you offer assistance to somebody, that community, the elderly community, that, or even maybe a busy mom? It could be. And I've met a lot of other men and so on that aren't handy. So is that something that you might be able to tap into? That lawn care, that floral arranging, maybe doing a install on patio blocks. Could you do something with somebody just putting in flowers, or a gardener? Could you do some gardening, maybe helping somebody put in a garden? Event planning, there's financial planning as well, and blogger, vlogger, musicians. Again, as I'm going through this list, there are just so many ideas that are out there that are just waiting for someone to do. So, musician, you could be a singer, you can be in a band, you could be a DJ, or you could also maybe make your own music. When we talk about herbalism, we can talk about also being a midwife or a doula. They, at the local hospital over here, St. Anthony's does have a doula program. I know because I'm certified as a doula. I took that many years ago. So consider doing that. Going back to gardening, maybe farming. It comes back to knowing where your food is. It's so important. Or maybe you could just teach those skills to somebody as well. And what about realtor? You can be a realtor as well. That's just something to think about. Now, also going back to other things to think that are a little bit more out of the box, you can consider picking up scrap metal. I don't have that on the list, but that is something that I've done. I had gotten enough, I scored enough copper that I was able to pay my rent. So copper is really big. So it's not glamorous to do some of these things, but you know what? You do what you have to do, honestly. Other things to consider are MLMs. So what are MLMs? Now, you've probably heard of Avon. You've heard of Mary Kay, Unique, Monat, I don't know how to say that one. Monat, Airborne, it's not Airborne, I think it's Airborne. I could be wrong with that. But also there's Juice Plus. We're talking about some health, also some health products. Shackley, Herbalife, Young Living, Essential Oils, Maluka, doTERRA. You've probably also heard of maybe Pampered Chef, Tupperware, Color Street, Scentsy, 31, Beach Body. That's a real big one as well. But those are other ways, other things that you can think about. There's It Works, that you can, Zeal. Some of these things are just popping in my head, but these are other ideas for you to think about. There's One Hope, they do wines, but there are other places to look for that are a little more out of the box. They have a little more structure to them, so then you don't really have to find your own thing. There's a formula for those. So these, I hope they help. I really do. And I hope you can find your superpowers. It can be challenging, but if you want to talk more, you can connect with me here. Here's my link tree down below. And you know what? I'm just certain and positive that you will come up on top. Or let me know if any of these helped you. If they did, I'd love to know, really and truly. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks again for just sharing this time with me. This is Melinda. I'm going to sign on off. And good luck to you. And I want to just take a minute just to say I am very proud of you for taking this courageous step forward into getting that control back into your life and empowering yourself. You are awesome and you are enough. Stay safe. Bye bye.